So if you got an email from me, you probably think it was written out by me by hand and probably took like 20 minutes. But in fact, it wasn't. None of my emails are handwritten. They're all automated. They feel like they were handwritten and not automated. And that's the whole point. I'm going to show you in this video on how you can leverage personalization on cold email, what you should do and what you shouldn't do. So let's get into this. Okay, so it is quite a complex topic. I've just summarized it into just 2 documents, and I'll get into a little bit of scripts and scripts writings. So if you're using Clay or something like this to leverage personalization, I'm going to show you how you can skip that and skip it for absolutely free. For years, you don't have to pay a single penny. So that's quite cool. If you want to know how to do it, just keep watching on. So people can just generally smell a copy-pasted email from basically a mile away. The more relevant and more personalized you can make your email become, the better your chances of actually getting a response from them. So a small tweak can make a world of difference in getting a reply or just getting ignored. So basically the 3 levels of personalization I like to categorize into and what we use inside our own agency is number 1, just basic, just first name, company name, job title. Everyone and their grandmother is doing this. You should as well, because these are the essential ones, the basic ones. So just make sure you mention these. You don't always need to mention the company name or job title, but if it's relevant, you most likely have access to it from a decent lead source. Okay, so contextual personalization, a specific comment about their company, recent news, or LinkedIn activity. You might be asking, oh shit, I don't have any of these. Right? That boils down basically to your leads list. And if you have a bad lead list, you didn't enrich them properly, then you have a problem, because you should have access to some of these, at least their LinkedIn, and something about their company like an SEO or just to over like keywords or something like this to work off of. I'm going to show you a good lead list in a second. Deep personalization just refers to a pain point, product they use, or some specific problem they have. So for example, on Crunchbase or LinkedIn Sales Navigator, you can search for these specific things, whether or not the company got funded recently, or stuff like this, which a lot of people don't know about, right? You could filter for a whole bunch of stuff, if they use a specific software or not, if they do XYZ. So you could use these in your copy, and generally this is how a good list should look like. Okay, so this is something we have. For example, in this video, I'm going to show you how you can use AI to personalize it and just get more out of this. So obviously first name, last name, title, company clean, which is quite a good thing to have. So for example, if I just scroll down, so we have bold matrix ink, and then what it does is just removes like the ink, removes if it's like a really stupid sounding company name, like for example like mineralanswers.com. Well, it failed to do it here, but the point of it is it removes, like, as you can see, like ink, like Family Technologies Incorporated. If you were to mention this in an email, you would just probably get ignored, because nobody talks about this. Like, in this sense, people, if they're working with the company, just mention like pharma. So that's what you use inside your emails. Obviously have your emails, seniority, department, first phone, corporate phone, stuff like this. What's important is keywords, personal LinkedIn, website, and all of these that are coming up. But most important is if you can get your hands on something like a SEO description. As you can see, not all of the ones have, but most of them do. And the good thing is, if you can get your hands on this, like for example, like we use data science to develop predictive models, you could do a simple scrape, or you could go onto Apify and just use this. Or if you have a good decent lead provider like we do, then you can get lists like this just right away. But obviously you can enrich this even further, because some of these are missing. But the point of it is like this. Based on this, you can just use AI to enrich it and create some personalization, like a personalized first line, or just something relevant. Like if you can mention like a specific pain point in relation to the exact services, that is going to be quite a killer email. I'm going to show you how to do it in just a minute or so. But before we get into it, how to personalize effectively, I'm just going to give you some pointers and then we can get into the scripts. But basically, using these dynamic fields too wisely, just too much, is going to be a problem. So if you'll be using first line, company name, your message is going to sound too generic. If you basically just leverage like, so let's go see, like, hey Alan, I know you're the director of XYZ company, Goveen. I'm specifically contacting directors of product design. And you mentioned the city they live in. It's just not going to work well. Like, you using every single data point is not going to help, right? Like, usually the saying like less is more applies here as well, and especially if you do less, which is really hyper targeted and hits their pain points, you're going to absolutely cook. So mention something specific. Like I said, just reference a recent company milestone if you can, podcast appearance, blog, and again, it just all boils down to the quality of your lead list. Leverage LinkedIn or Twitter, see what they posted. You can just, I mean, if you have a lead list like this, as you can see, we have access to their Twitter page, like pretty much all of theirs. And I can look up the Facebook page for the company. I can even look up the personal LinkedIn page for this person. And you can scrape that. You can run a script to just scrape it and just get information off this. That's how you do it. I'm going to show you how you can do this in this video. Mention something relevant. Could be the exact ICP they sell to, which again can be specific. Like for example, if you know, let's just say, again, let's go back to the sheet. This director works at Giovini. Let's say he, sells cybersecurity, and he specifically sells to, let's say, other software companies, obviously, right? You could figure this out by the SEO description, because it could say we help SEO companies or software companies with cybersecurity. So that's how you could leverage that. So you could say in this email, something like came across Giovini, saw you guys helping software companies with cybersecurity, and you can put in your offer, right? Like if you send hundreds of thousands of emails like this, imagine the comparison between something like this and just like, hey, I help XYZ, right? It worked 4 or 5 years ago. It doesn't work now. Personalize your call to action finally. So instead of saying let's chat, I want to see how this applies to your specific goal. Obviously this is quite vague, but the point of it is just don't pitch them right away, because that's not going to end well. But if you need more help with emails, I have just created I think a 2-hour mini series on emails. So if you want to, it's right here, somewhere around here in this screen. It's going to be a title card. You can just continue and watch it from here if you have questions regarding that. Okay, but how you can leverage data, you can just come here, come to scripts. We have a few scripts here. We have a how to use. This is just a few examples. We have observations, 1, 2, 3, just a few variation. If you need to personalize first line, if you need to clean phone numbers, if you want to enrich using scraping dog, if you want to extract SEO, like for example, if you don't have this column like we do, as you can see, SEO description, and if you want to get it, you can just run this script. In this video, I'm just going to show you how you can run the observations. So this script is just going to revolve around, hey, I noticed XYZ about company. So something very simple, basic to get you started with. But if you are following along in this video, you can understand like the full system. But if you still need a guide, if you want to copy paste stuff, just click on the how to use section here. It's going to bring you up to this document, and we're going to walk through this right now, because you're going to need quite a few things if you don't already have it. If you do, that's great, that's awesome. But if you don't, I'm going to show you how you can get it. So let's go. This is how the script's going to look like, but don't be intimidated. If you don't have any of these, I'm going to show you how to get everything. So first of all, you need to install Python. Just come here to this link, or just you can look it up, Python download, and just download the latest version of Python for whatever system that you're running. If you're Windows. If you're Mac OS, then download Mac OS. You can download this for Linux as well. But if you on Linux, you probably don't need this guide, and you can figure this out. But anyway, if you're on Windows or Mac, just download Python. Next step would be to add Python to the path. This is a little bit complex, but you only need to do it once. You would just look up in the search bar environmental variables, and you need to click this one. This is going to bring you here. But basically, you would need to click on the path, and this is going to bring up a second window, and you would need to click new. And all you would need to do basically is just enter the path for Python. So it could look something like this, right? Like C, username, app.data, local, program, Python, something like this. I'm not going to enter this because I have it here. As you can see, this is how it looks for me. User, that's my username, a local program, Python, and that's pretty much it. For scripts, you can do the same as well. And once you have this, just click OK, and then you should be good to go. And then you can open terminal, and then simply you can look up Python version. As you can see, I have 3.1001. I specifically have this version because of some of the scripts and AI automation tools that I'm running on my local PC would break on the newest version, but you can just download the newest one. It's going to work fine with this script. But just make sure you don't download a super old version. If you're Mac, you can follow these simple steps. I think it's easier on Mac, so you just need to enter these commands and you should be good to go. Next is install VS Code. Just again, come to the link, come here, download for Windows, or it's going to detect whatever system software you have. Once you have it downloaded, it's going to look something like this. You're not going to have any file, any path as of yet. So it's going to look something bare and bones like this. But just once you have it downloaded, then you can move on to the next stage. So you can download any of the scripts that you like. You can download the whole thing if you want. And what you would want to do is you would just come here, open file, or if you want to open the whole folder, it's just basically select the folder that you want. Say this is the scripts that we have, and then all you would need to do is just hit select, and it's going to open up just like this. Okay, so next, once you have this, there's only just a few more steps and we should be in business. So next you would need to install the packages. So all you would need to do is just hit this command. So just come back here and open up terminal. So just click here, new terminal, and you have a new terminal window here, and just click pip install pandas, OpenAI, TQDM, and request. Because we're using these libraries, time and some of these are included, but some of them are not. So for example, these ones that we need to install, so pandas, OpenAI, TQDM, and requests, they need to be installed. All you would need to do is just click enter, and it's going to install it for you. As you can see, for me it's already satisfied because I have it downloaded. If you want to clear the console, you can just type in clear. But how you would run it, there's just a few more steps. So you would need an OpenAI API key, and you would need a path for which file you want to enrich. So I already put in the path. How you would put the path is basically just find out where the file is located. So for example, for me, it is right here. It's the software analytics one right here. I would just click here, show more properties, and just click here, this full path. It's going to give me the location of the file. Also, you could do it through copy path. That's another way to do it. And you would just come here and just replace this whole thing. And as you can see, just make sure it ends on the file itself, right? So the CSV, and don't just copy like this path, because if you just copy this path, it is not going to work because it's not going to find the file, right? It needs to end on a CSV. So if you click on this, three dots, and copy path, it should give you this path. Okay, now all we need to do is just finally get your OpenAI API key. It's going to give you, I think, like $5 to $10 worth of credits. Just come to OpenAI. It's going to be linked here again. And all you would need to do, log in and just create a new key. You can enter whatever you want, and it is going to give you, make sure it's all that you can click, and here is the OpenAI key you can use, copy and paste it. If you lose it, you can just come back and create a new one or delete it. But if you need more credits, basically we have a partnership where if you sign up with OpenAI, they're gonna classify you as a startup, and you're going to get 2K, yeah, exactly $2,000 worth of OpenAI credits. So you can use it for whatever you want. It's gonna last you basically months, if not years. You can run these scripts, these AI automations on lists that are basically millions of rows long. Okay, next, once you have everything, all you would need to do is just copy this and run the script. So as you can see, I have included a indication of where the script is at. And in case there's a crash, something goes wrong, because you possibly are using rows that are thousands of long, I have included a failsafe. Every 100 rows or so, it is going to save the file for you. So if you come back here in this document, we already have a new file name, analytics software Personalize. So don't open it just yet, just wait for it to finish. But if something goes wrong, if it crashes, it is going to save every 100 or so rows. So I'm going to be back in a minute or two once this finishes.
2,000 years later.
Just jumping back, you might be seeing this. Another thing I wanted to point out to you is before you run the script, you might need to change one more thing. Obviously, you need to change the path. You need to change the OpenAI key. So this is where you input the key. But one more thing, the column to enrich is going to be the name of the column that you want this script to run. So example, in my case, it's the SEO description. So I put the name SEO description. And what it's going to do is just going to take every single data point. So book your code, just if you click simple, fast, and secure, it's going to take that and it's going to run this prompt through that, right? You can put here whatever prompt you want. So that's the beauty of this, right? You can just do a whole bunch of stuff. And that's why Clay is pretty much redundant. At this point, you can get the 2K credits for free and then just not pay for Clay ever again. I know a lot of people fell into the propaganda that Clay puts out, but you can run these locally for absolutely free. Most times these are faster and cheaper. Another thing you can do while this is still just having a few issues is you can limit the number of workers. As you can see, it is doing 10 workers per second. The intervals is basically how many times you want this script to save. So every 100 or so rows it saves. Batch size, you can do that. You can change that as well. I don't recommend really messing with anything else. The reason you're getting these messages is because we're getting rate limited by OpenAI. Is because I just have this free account. If you're using the 2K credit account, you should not have this issue. Another thing you can do is we're just using GPT 3.5 Turbo. You can change the model to 4.0 or whatever you want, 4. Mini. I think that is going to perform a lot better. This is just so absolutely cheap, and you really don't need anything besides this. If you want to, you can obviously get it, but I feel like it's not worth it to run. But once it's done, once it finishes, as you can see, processing 100% done. You can just close this and we would come here and let's check out the file that it created. Okay, cool. So you would need to scroll to the end and let me explain like what it does. So at the end, it puts a new column, which is going to be called, as you can see, Personalized here. So what it does, if you go to the end, it's going to have new observation column. If it doesn't have data, it's not going to put anything here. Though if you want to, you can run an older version of the script. So if you come to V2 or Personalize first line, those both give you some data here. But if you just want to use this one, it's the most updated one I find work the best, then you're going to need to use this. So observation, what it does, as you can see, it creates these nice little first liners for us. So it was in your site and saw you make booking course simple and secure. So it's quite a nice first liner, quite nice personalization. You can include this. So next, let's say was in your site and saw you doing revolutionizing digital health. So really all it does is just go through the SEO description and just runs this prompt through. It couldn't really be any simpler than this. So this is really basically it. If you get any problems running the script, you can just let me know. You can send me a message on Instagram. Or again, if you need help implementing a system like this into your own pipeline, you can book a call with me and I'm happy to help you out. But if you just want the document, it's always, as usual, second link in the description. So with that in mind, just to like quickly sum up everything, good versus bad personalization. Bad is, hi first name, I help companies like yours. Let's go. Good one is, hey first name, saw your post about topic. Love your take. We recently helped competitor name solve a specific problem. Want me to send over what works for them. Less is more. Again, like over personalization can look forced. Just use 1 or 2 good pointers. And you might be wondering like, you have no idea how to get competitor name. Yes, you do. I've just shown you how to do it. You can just change up the script and that's pretty much it. So instead of running this script, which is going to give you this personalized first line, you can just write, hey, do deep analysis on this company. You can mention the company URL or the company name, and let's find competitors of this company, right? And then it's going to put it into a competitor name just like this. It's very simple. Just you want to make sure you have a solid prompt and you test it out, but you can create your own based on this. And literally this is all you need. You don't need Clay. You never need to use something like Clay ever again. So I hope you got some value out of this. If you don't already use something like this and you're just using Clay, again, I think it's a big waste of money at the end of the day. You can create any script for any purpose you want using this walkthrough. With this in mind, this was it, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.